And welcome to the Town Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
I'm Fred.
Captain Paul Tyre.
And I'm Grant.
Yeah, the pre-game warm-up here we got going on. It was a pretty crappy conversation.
It was.
Well, we can at least say go to Breitbart and read about Hunter Biden's art book.
There you go.
And just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
We're not going to talk anymore.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, the article was actually sort of clean until you got to the end, which was kind of crappy, and it's talking about the value of Hunter Biden's artwork, lost in the fire.
It's a new genre of feces art.
Yeah.
Well, politically correct way of saying it. That's the community-friendly way of saying it. Right?
I'm here to tell you that the value of Hunter Biden's artwork on November 3rd went to about zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything sort of died down around him. Now they're looking at maybe going after Joe Biden's brother for some stuff because they did all that.
Pardon to come about tomorrow.
Yeah.
How do you pardon somebody? How do you pardon people before they're convicted of something,
or even charged with anything?
Well, they did it with Richard Nixon, and that's the precedent that they're hanging their hat on. Yeah, Nixon was never charged, and so they pardoned him for any crimes he may have committed.
Well, then what Trump needs to do is he concludes his term in office. He needs to resign about a week out. Let the vice president pardon him for all future and past crimes. You can?
Hmm?
Oh, well.
Nothing saying you can't.
Well, I mean, I've heard people do it all the time. They go, pardon me. And, they just that has a whole new meaning now. Whole new meaning. The only thing is a lot of Trump stuff has been state crimes, which they can't do. You can't pardon yourself.
Are they still trying to pardon Fauci, whoever that guy?
My guess is
his will happen this weekend too.
It's coming. It's coming. I mean, that guy has some. There's perjury charges.
Oh, big time perjury charges, no question.
And they should be prosecuted.
Biden's doing just craziness right here, and it's not him doing it. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing from minute to minute. But all his crazy left wing staff around him are just doing, hey, let's do this and let's do that and he's up there trying to defend his actions, and he's going, what do I do again?
Did you see the farewell speech?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't watch
if I'd have known he'd accomplished all that I might have voted for it.
And he would have won if he had won.
Well, according to him,
if
he hadn't backed out, he would have won.
That's right.
I mean, of course, it would have been a more even lopsided victory then. But
no. You watching any of the confirmation hearings?
Yeah.
I like the one with Pam Bondi.
Now,
she's
Pam
tough.
Bondi, I was, I didn't dislike her. I just never thought of her as a
tiger.
Yeah. And after she put Adam Schiff in his face?
Yeah.
I'm like, sweetheart, I wish you weren't engaged because,
Yeah, she is.
Like it would matter if she wasn't, Fred.
Well, you never know. I mean,
get
a toupee, and
she was not having. She was not having.
Your wife would go, okay, go ahead and try.
Go ahead, Fred.
I'm going to sit back and watch this.
She already said
this is going to be funny.
Yeah, so we had Christy Nolan.
I'll have dinner ready when you get home.
Yeah, you go ahead, so, honey. You all right? You go ahead. I'm gonna entertain this feeble old man who's got into dirty.
Yeah, she went after Schiff.
Go ahead.
Speaking of wife,
she put you in your place in about 2 seconds.
Christy Nolan, coming up today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'll be yesterday if you're listening to it. And I'm looking at Christy Nolan, and I'm like, I like Christy Nolan.
That you were.
And I was. And I think she was a really good governor of South Carolina, but
South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota. Yeah,
she pheasant hunts.
Yeah, that's correct. She does. But that book that she wrote, where she talked about shooting the dog.
Yeah, well, maybe.
What's wrong with that? Sometimes you got to shoot a dog.
I get it, and it's not the shooting of the dog.
I don't believe I'd have told that story.
It's not the shooting of the dog.
And so my comment
it's the talking about shooting of the dog.
Correct. And my talking to the wife is like, there are some things that are just not appropriate to discuss.
Wait a minute now. You're telling somebody that? You said
that's what she said.
Well,
Hello, Pot. My name's Kettle.
well, Fred. To be fair, he gave up on any political aspirations a long time ago. So he knows that he's not going to be in any confirmation hearings.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, that Hiromo woman that's up there asking, have you ever, ever been accused of any sexual inappropriate things? I'd be like,
Accused? Caught? I mean, let's be more specific, ma'am.
Do you know who you're talking to? I mean,
So and now we have, we've got Ashley Moody that's going to be the senator here, which is actually a good thing. Yeah, I mean, because she's got. Well, here's the thing: if you think about it, I think she termed out in 2 years here.
I think she does,
and so now this puts her in a national position representing the state of Florida with the right attitude.
She does.
And another thing it's doing, and this is something that I've noticed. Remember, it wasn't that many presidential elections ago that when you looked at the Republican side of the Senate and the House, that it was all a bunch of white guys,
a lot of gray hairs and
white guys,
old white men,
white men, like and there weren't a lot of women. And now, not only are it's younger, it's also a lot more women and a lot more attractive women,
a lot more
too.
diverse,
I mean,
a lot more diverse in general. So.
And so you're starting to see now. I can't. You look in there and you're going to see all the left-wing women and all the right-wing women. I told my wife last night, I said, before long, y'all just going to be running the country, and I'm going to be fine with it. Because y'all going to be up there. It's going to be a cat
y'all
fight.
Go fight the fight, and I'll sit back, drink a beer, and watch.
They'll be pulling hair and whipping each other's butts in there. And we're going to talk about, I don't know how we got here, but I'm kind of liking this.
I mean, every time Nancy Mace takes the stage, something's about to go down with her.
Well, I'm pretty doggone sure that for the last several years that a woman's been running the White House. Either from the vice president's position or from the spouse of the president, the first lady, one or the other. That whole because there's no man been running it, so they said, well, we need our first female president. I'm pretty sure we've already had that. I mean, if you go back, generations ago, there were
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the power behind the throne, so to speak.
Hillary Clinton.
Probably.
Yeah, pretty in pink.
He was too busy not having sexual relations with that woman.
He wasn't doing that. He was smoking cigars.
Yeah, I bet he would.
They moving the inauguration indoors. It's going to be indoors.
Are they having it indoors?
Yep.
Well, you figure if it's going to be 18 or 19 degrees here, it's probably going to be real cold.
Real cold.
And if that's the excuse they're using, that's a good reason. Because we were talking before the show. Paul said, "Well, what do you think? The chances of anything happening are?" And you said something about Hannity or somebody was saying some guy was going, it was 50-50. I fully expect that somewhere within 10 blocks of that inauguration, somebody's going to jail they're probably going to have some weapons on them or something, because it happens at all these big events. We don't always hear about it or read about it, but there's people arrested constantly, and it'll be a little blurb in some,
He's got his own security team.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either.
In addition to the Secret Service, and
I don't blame him.
And these guys, they're taking it seriously.
Well, when he gets control of the Secret Service again, maybe, but not right now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't trust him.
Speaking of that, y'all think they're going to do away with this DEI stuff? And
already starting.
It's slowly.
It's happening as we speak.
It seems like big companies are.
It is falling away. It's shedding.
Yeah,
just a change in leadership that quick.
And now that Walmart's done its rebranding,
I think we may actually have a return of some semblance of common sense. I don't know about return of decorum, because I don't think he's the guy. Mm-hmm. I don't think Trump is the guy to bring decorum back to the world. But I do think that there will be a whole lot of heavy application of common sense in our world. Hopefully for the next 4 years.
It's just a different vibe, a different feeling.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to scream bloody murder from the other side of the aisle, because that's what they do.
If they're smart, they won't, because
if they're not smart.
If they're smart, they will not, because their side, the people from their side, are the reason he got elected at the
I think that
size
the loud, obnoxious ones that don't know, they're going to make enough noise that they're going to drive people from the middle to the right,
further away.
They're going to continue to do it because people are going to see the country start to come back together in a lot of different ways. Hopefully, let's pray it happens, and then you're going to see that all of that craziness starts to subside. You're already starting to see people in Hollywood and California do the fires and the left-wing leadership out there. You're starting to see some of the voices
waking up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were in the middle anyway, and now they're starting to speak up a little bit, and it's a little more politically correct because the ones on the left they don't have anything to stand on or a house to live in or nothing else. I mean, it's just a mess. Yeah. We'll be right back. And we're back. Once again, I had to cut in on the break conversation because y'all missed so much of the conversation out there that it's probably good. It's probably good.
Mama's Sunday school classes.
I was telling some folks the other day that we got the audience couch over there. If anybody wants to come. Sure do.
Easy on there. Now your friends may or may not be welcome. But just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We have some pretty dadgum top-notch, high-end folks come up here and slum with us a little bit every now and then. Last week it was Peter Schweitzer.
Yeah.
Peter walks in here. He's over there rolling, laughing. He goes, I think y'all need to go back and listen to that show. And talking about our audience, not us.
It was a good show.
And he walks in here on me telling some story about a flaming golf cart back in the day running from the police. And he's like, I thought I was going to come in here and listen to some classic conversation about guns and Second Amendment. No, it's not what I walked in on. I'm like, well, I didn't know you was going to be here. Could have told the story,
We'd clean the place up.
No, man. I was telling one the other day. I got a couple more on tap that somebody had given. I was telling somebody, Mike out there the other day, one. He goes, "You tell that on the show yet?" I said, "I don't remember. I don't know." But did I ever tell you about the hold on? Okay, I got a couple of them. I may not tell today, but did I ever tell you about the one where the boat and the melted tennis shoes?
Oh, tell it.
No, okay. I don't think you ever have. I am completely unaware of that.
And then there was I'll tell it later in the show when we got a whole segment.
Sounds
and
like
then there was another one. What was it? What was I telling him? I'll think about it. I'll think of it in just a minute. But that's my brain doesn't work that way. They just come and go like that.
That's bad as me. So back during Christmas break when I was in high school, we used to go down to, I don't know where we were, somewhere Sumatra, Tilogia, somewhere down there south of Bristol every year at Christmas break when I was in high school. And I was probably 16, 17 years old. And we'd go down there and dog hunt, run deer dogs with some buddies of ours from Bristol that had a camp down there. And I'm not going to say names because people would probably know some. Well, I would. It's the Johnson clan, not my relatives, but the Johnson clan. Jeff Johnson's the head baseball coach or the athletic director at Chipola Junior College. It was him and his brothers and dad and their whole family. And we go down there and just basically wear the clothes that we had for 3 days, 4 days in a row, go down there, sleep on the, wherever you could find to lay down or pass out and sit around the campfire and all that stuff. And we coon hunt all night for the most part and deer hunt in the daytime with dogs. So you go get a different set of dogs for the nighttime. And I got down there one year, and it was cold, and we had a big old fire going, and we went coon hunting, and I got soaking wet. And I had one pair of socks to my name that I wore down there, and they got wet. So I'm going to be smart. And then we had some old logs laid around the fire to lean up on or sit on, and I took them socks, and I laid them up on the log, and it fell asleep by the fire. And woke up the next morning, and them acrylic, whatever, they were not real wool hunting socks. They were melted to the they were melted to the log, and I got 2 more days, so I run around the woods down there, and no wonder I had pneumonia all the time every year. Run around there for 2 more days with hunting boots on and no socks, because there ain't nowhere to get socks in Sumatra, Florida.
I'm sure there's a Dollar General pre-Dollar General.
That's enough to say. There's probably a Dollar General there now.
Depending on which way you go from downtown, there was probably one on that end and one on that end because there's Dollar General. That was before they became a viral thing. It's like, man, there's a vacant lot over there. They better sell it and do something with it quick. There'll be a Dollar General there next week.
The little convenience store down there in the middle of the forest, after 3 days of us being down there, ran out of beer. We bought them out of beer. That's all the money we had was for gas and beer, and we drank them out of beer in 3 days.
I think they got 3 Dollar General stores in Carabel now.
Not surprising. I saw a funny meme on it was the guy in the yellow suit peeking out from behind the tree, and it was tell me more about this Greenland. He was the Dollar General, had a Dollar General sign on his shirt. He's peeking out like, hey, we're fixing to get Greenland. They got Dollar Generals, more locations for Dollar General. Trump's going to buy Greenland
over there.
Yeah.
I mean, but what, 56,000 people on that whole line?
If that.
Well, they need a Dollar General. I mean,
they need
There's
47.
They need
47.
more than one. They need. There's a. You go to Dollar General. If there's 3 people in the line, you have hit rush hour. And they got for a while they had the self checkout thing for some reason. Now you go over there, they got candy bars stacked on top of the self checkout thing because there ain't no use in trying to use that.
Nobody knows how to use that in a Dollar General.
And then you get there and they spit out 4 receipts and they're all just hanging there. You'll go there and there'll be like 6 or 7 receipts because you want your receipt, and I'll look down and I'll go, I don't know which one it is, and never mind. So I just leave it there.
If you're returning something to a Dollar General, you got problems.
Well, no, there's
Well, it costs $1.
No, that's the dollar store. That's the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree. You got
which is like $1.25 now, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's the
inflation.
Buck and a quarter tree.
Yeah.
The Dollar Tree has everything in for like $1 or so. Dollar General is a general merchandise store that has things of all value. You go in there and get milk, you get clothes, you can get.
Because I've been pontificating.
Do y'all remember the 5 and dime stores?
Yep.
There was a 5 and dime store in Chattahoochee. There was I don't remember the name of it, but it was so and so's 5 and dime. And as a kid, you go up there and buy the little the little balsa wood airplanes that you punch the things out.
But you had the gliders and you had the one with the propeller on.
Yeah. Oh, you had both of those, and you had all the little cap guns and
probably get a kite too.
Yeah, you had the cap guns, both kind of cap guns.
Yep.
You had the cap guns with the little speed loader on there, the little round plastic,
the red things, like the primers.
And then you had the ones that were the long caps.
And when your cap gun broke, you get a hammer out.
Yeah,
and
go to busting them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking my dad was just the baddest man on the planet when I was a kid with them caps, because the ones on the paper strip caps, that you put in there and it unroll them. He'd take his thumbnail and he'd grab them things and go, and just rip it through his fingernail, bust them with his thumbnail.
He light a match with his thumbnail too.
Oh yeah, he was tough as a lighter knot. He'd take them things, and I was like, wow. I tried it one time, and it hurt my thumb, burnt my thumb, and all that. I'm a kid. I got little thin fingernails and thin skin, and he'd rip them things through his hand and set them things off.
See, now I want to try it.
Now you want to try it. You're a man now. You can try it.
You can find it. You can find. I got a thick thumbnail now. I got to try it.
Yeah, you got man hands.
I used to stack them up 3 or 4 thick and hit them with a hammer and make them. It'd be louder then.
Probably do it with my fingertips.
But I remember the smell.
Mm-hmm.
That
first day of dove season smell.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very distinctive smell to the first day of dove season.
There is.
Or shooting a shotgun, and the first shotgun shot in the morning, first thing or in the day when you're shooting shotgun, you get that smell, and it just brings back memories like nobody.
I smelled it yesterday.
But we didn't have a 5 and 9. We had a TGMY.
We had a Kmart and a TGMY in Quincy. We had to drive 40 miles to get there. But there was nothing in Chattahoochee but an IGA and a 5 and dime.
Well, Mariana had a Grant City for a while, which was kind of like in my world when I was riding my bicycle around town. I go to Grant City. It didn't have as many toys as TGMY did, but it was a little more upscale. It was okay. They went out of business back in the 70s. But TGMY was pretty cool.
Toys, guns, and yo-yos.
Yeah.
Is that what they stood for?
No, it was the names of the guys that owned it, but it was toys,
in my world,
and yo-yos
it was
to us. That's what we thought it was. And when Google came around, that's one of the first things I Googled was what does TGMY stand for, and it was the 3 guys. 3 guys' names.
Back when 22 bullets were a penny a piece on sale, 50 cent for a 50-round box of 22 long rifle. My mom would go to Quincy maybe once a month for big grocery shopping, stuff you couldn't get at the IGA or stuff that she'd go over to Quincy, and I'd put in my request for her to make a swing by TGMY or Kmart or whichever one was open and buy me a brick of 22 bullets.
Oh, our TGMY was next to Burdine's drugstore
for $5.
It was down there where the Capitol Plaza, I guess. There's a Whole Foods there now.
Yep.
And there was a TGMY there in the movie theater.
Yep.
And,
Miracle Plaza.
And Miracle Plaza, where the Burdine's drugstore was right next to the TGMY. And so I'd try to get sick all the time, so I'd have to go
to the drugstore so you could go to the TGMY.
So I could go to the TGMY. Got me a rubber snake and plastic alligator.
My papa used to have this old little white tub. I think he put dentures in or something. He kept it in the bottom drawer of his dresser, and he'd slip a couple dollar bills in there every now and then. And he'd go, "Well, boy, you want something from TG&Y? Just go in there. And I'll leave you a little allowance in there. You can go spend it on what you want to." And I bought models. I bought model airplanes. I was big into model airplanes. I'd build some tanks every now and I'd build some.
Sniff the glue.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Well, Mama used to walk in there and go, "What are you in here sniffing glue?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're. I'm not sure what you're talking."
No,
I didn't understand the concept.
I'm building an airplane.
I didn't understand the concept. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And later in life, maybe that's why I enjoyed putting together plastic models so dadgum much. But I'm in there, trying to get to the point where I could airbrush the airplanes. And I had it all in my room. I had it hanging on a piece of fishing line, hanging off a thumbtack in the ceiling and stuff. It looked like the Battle for Britain in my bedroom in there, with a Japanese Zero or a couple of whatever
glue smell still
Betsy's and all those kind of things in there. But
Zeeks and Zeros and
glue
Betsy
came in a
bombers.
little orange thing, like an orange tube, orange metal tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You have to take it off. Put
testers glue.
model glue.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was? Yeah, and you stick it right there.
Now we know what's wrong with Fred.
Start talking like Joe Biden.
JD, like, remember the smell of a two-stroke outboard?
Yes, sir.
In the cool mornings.
Yeah.
Man, that's a.
Yep. Oh, but
Now they're all 4-strokes.
yeah, they don't make that stink anymore. No more of the blue smoke and all that stuff's a thing of the past. Old carburetors would get loaded up first thing when you first cranked it up. It'd make a smoke cloud that'd hide your boat.
That smell will never. You always recognize.
There's just certain things that
Smell.
So I was
smell.
welding yesterday, and as I struck that arc, and I don't weld a lot anymore, but when I struck that arc, and
I saw what you welded. I can tell.
it works.
We'll see.
Well, I didn't have a grinder, JD.
Obviously.
There's not a grinder back there. There was a bench grinder, and that's the second layer of weld I put on top of it, and I couldn't find the. Cole had a hand grinder back there. I don't know where it's at.
We got to find out what you're welding now.
All right.
Hitting
Target.
steel plates, trying to keep everything working out here. I mean, it only takes a minute to fix them. We'll be right back. All right, it's hot in here.
Yeah,
Now it's got warm.
Actually
I feel
feels
better.
good.
Yeah, y'all ready to bundle up? It's fixing to get Arctic around here.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the forecast, and today on Saturday when it's going to be, we're going to have some rain. I don't know because it ain't today yet in the studio.
Yeah.
It's still yesterday today.
And they still can't figure it out. I mean,
They're guessing at it. They're still guessing at it. They're saying, but they're.
But
I will tell you this.
The 20s all week though.
Yeah, I can tell you the city of Tallahassee is preparing in advance for worst case scenario, which is blocking off. Wife and I were talking about it last night. She's talking about staging barricades and getting ready to put people out and having people on hand in case they have to.
Put people out on assignment.
Yeah, put people out.
Put people out like. Huh? Sometimes you have to care how you phrase things because
you can't.
The police probably gonna put some people out.
You can't.
Gonna knock them off.
You didn't pay your bill. Get out of there.
You can't just put up a barricade on a street unmanned because people will drive around it and move it or whatever, and you're not accomplishing the task.
You're gonna tell New Orleans that.
Yeah, I will tell them that. It doesn't work. That's obvious. But anyway, so the last time we had, sure enough, winter weather here, and FHP shut down I-10 because of the bridge overpasses icing over and causing crashes. I was sitting out here in a deer stand that morning, and it was snowing, and actually killed a deer that morning in the snow in Florida. There ain't too many people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
pretty good.
But the quiet is what I could not get over. That was the weirdest, eeriest, because out here, I mean, we're right off the interstate, and you constantly have – it's white noise. The traffic going by is just pretty much white noise. You ignore it unless it's something different. But I was out here in the woods hunting, and I probably wasn't 600 yards from the interstate fence where I was hunting, and it was so quiet that it was just the weirdest thing. And it's because there was no, and it was so quiet that it was noticeable. It was like, wow, I've never sat out here before.
Yeah.
I've been out here in this area and had that kind of quiet. But sitting there and watched it snow that morning, and deer walked out, and it went.
Think it's going to snow?
I think we'll get probably some freezing rain or flurries or little ice pellets or something because you're going to have a lot of humidity in the air and a lot of cold. So
I don't think you're going to see any accumulation or anything.
Yeah.
But
Remember 1989 when it snowed?
I do. Right around Christmas.
Yep. It was it was White Christmas. It was like a couple of days before Christmas. We had snow on the ground at Christmas. And I was home from college in Christmas break, and we got out the 3-wheeler and the hydro slide.
Yeah, that'll work.
And went sledding. I don't even know if you could find a 3-wheeler now. They were death
Did
traps.
you have which 3-wheeler did y'all?
A Honda 110.
Yeah,
I had a Honda 185S, which was the 110 size, the small with the bigger motor.
Yeah.
You talk about death trap.
I mean, my brother broke his arm on that thing. I crashed it in.
The high in Dothan on Tuesday and Wednesday is 36 and 37.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like 42 here. For
42 here.
But there is a worst case scenario more than that, where they're saying the low could get down in the teens and here. So
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, you can find a. There's a 1985 Honda Big Red right there. That was the one with the big
200
tires
on
on
it.
it.
Big Red was a 200 cc.
And then there's another one for $1,800. There's 1985. Yeah, you can get them. Those things are death traps.
They run forever though.
Yeah, they'll run forever.
I'll knock on wood. I never got hurt on mine. Never hurt myself. Never wrecked it bad.
I had to drive that thing. So where we lived growing up, where Dad still lives, it was about mile and a half, 2.5 miles on a dirt road to Thomasville Road to catch the bus. Mm-hmm. And I had to go out there at 5 in the morning on that thing and hide it behind a tree to catch that bus.
So it was a half a mile on dirt road from my house to Highway 90. And where the bus stopped, the bus didn't come down the dirt road.
No, they don't do dirt roads.
And I had a Honda.
In Jackson County, they did.
I had a Honda XR75 little dirt bike, and I would boogity down the road in that thing, run it off in the woods, just jump off of it and go get on the school bus, and then come home and crank that thing, start that thing, and come back to the house.
But at 5 in the morning,
it's cold.
It's cold. On a death trap as you're going out the bus.
Well, you get on a school bus in Jackson County, and they had one heater near the wheel well in the back somewhere. And you'd
fight for that seat.
Yeah, who was going to get there, and you were so many seats away from it, and half the windows wouldn't close. So you got the wind coming in there. They got air conditioned buses now, and that's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with our children.
That's exactly right.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, we had
And we're back. So I was reminded which story I was supposed to tell by Mike Brown. I sent him a text, and I said, I told you half the story in the parking lot the other day. What was the story you suggested I tell on the radio? And he said, something to do with losing your eyebrows. And I went, yeah, okay, I remember which one it was now. But then Fred started telling one on the break that sounds even better, even though it creeps me out a little bit. So we were talking about riding 3-wheelers and mess and going down, and our experiences getting on that stuff back in the day. How we wouldn't put our kids on that. No. I'm in Jackson County, I would, but my wife won't let the kids ride the bus. We have to chauffeur them to school nowadays. So you were telling about a biology teacher that you had.
Yeah, so this guy, he's been in Tallahassee, in and out of Tallahassee for years. When I was a kid, he had him a snake camp. His name was Jim Stevenson, and he was kind of a environmental type guy. He's done some work on Wakulla Springs, that sort of stuff, and he big into Florida wildlife and that sort of thing. And when I was a kid, he had a snake camp, and my mother, for whatever reason, signed me and my brothers up for this snake camp, which was an all-day-long affair. He'd have us traipsing through swamps.
So they didn't have to deal with you at home, but
probably traipsing through swamps, catching water moccasins at 8 years old, putting them in a sock, and somebody had donated a sock, and you're walking around this. Fast forward, I don't know how I kept from getting bit. I don't know, but I did. How he got insurance, I don't think he had it.
That was then.
That was then.
People didn't sue people back then for
I guess
things
not,
like that.
For taking your kid to a swamp with snakes. And fast forward, he winds up being my biology teacher in high school. And he still was into snakes. And you could get extra credit
bringing
a snake to school. This is Leon High.
Now you get suspended.
They kill you. So, we had a lot of snakes out where I lived, and I caught lots of snakes and did lots of things with snakes. Still catch snakes.
Made good grades.
I want to know how you caught them.
You should pick them up.
Okay. Moccasins, you just reach down and pick them up?
No, you get the moccasins. There's a trick to that. Don't try that at home. And you have to grab him by the tail, fling him up, and then pinch him with you.
No,
I ain't doing that.
Anyway,
No.
so you were getting extra credit, so you caught some snakes.
Caught some snakes, and I had a couple of them in a pillowcase one morning.
What kind of snakes?
I think I had a banded water snake and an oak snake, and non-poisonous.
Yeah.
And I put them in a pillowcase and threw them over my back on that three-wheeler. And I was the first stop because back then where we lived on Thomasville Road, there was no Killearn Lakes.
You far away as you could get in Tallahassee and still be in,
Thomasville Road was a single lane. And one of the stops we had to make was the next stop with the characters at Lake Hall.
Okay.
And these were some unsavory characters up there, and they were big. And I was little. And I didn't get to sit in their seat.
What you got in that sack?
That's exactly what happened. Got in there, and I'm sitting over there, and I'm shorter than I am now, smaller than I am now, if you can imagine that. And then they're, what you got in that bag? What's in that bag? And I'm like, you don't need to see what's in my bag. No, you show us what's in that bag. I'm like, all right, well, you asked. And I handed them the bag, and they opened it up, and woo, there's a snake in that bag! They never mess with me again. I carried a pillowcase to school every day from there on out.
They said, where's the back door to this bus? They ain't one. Reckon where they want one.
Oh, man.
That's why I still like snakes.
Not me.
It saved your life.
I don't do snakes. So
we going, me and Fred's going quail hunting this weekend.
Are you?
Yeah. We're going to be quail. Well, we're going up they invited me up to me and my son, and I want to tell you how excited I am. My son's 25, and he's never been quail hunting. And it's no. And I grew up quail hunting with my grandfather.
Back when there was wild birds.
When there was wild birds, and it was 2 or 3 days a week, and we had our own bird dogs. And I grew up. It was just quail hunt was part of life for me, and it hasn't been for a long time. I've gotten to go a few times on pen raise hunts and pay a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. And I have had didn't have a lot of opportunity and didn't have a lot of money to be able to do it for a big period of time in my life. But until I was about 18, that's what we did. We quail hunted. My granddaddy never deer hunted. We'd occasionally go shoot summer ducks. Wood ducks. We'd go shoot a wood duck hole or something because my grandmother absolutely had to have some summer ducks to make dressing with. And he never deer hunted, didn't turkey hunt. We dove hunted and quail hunted as a kid growing up. And I'm super excited that my son is getting to go quail hunting to see what I love so much. So it's going to be it's going to be great, and whether I pull the trigger or not. So
Well, you're going to pull the trigger.
I know I will, and it's just. But I'm saying it's back to being a different world now. And I was talking with him on the phone about it and kind of explaining to him how this works. And this is a riding in the Jeep, and me and my granddaddy just throw the dogs on the ground and walk for 5 to 10 miles at a day. Quail hunting, walking behind the dogs, and this is different thing. Yeah. This is rich folks deer quail hunting, and that's not what I grew up doing because we weren't. But
well, you're going to have some of my family at this thing, so it's not going to feel like rich folks. It's going to feel like it.
I'm kind of looking forward to meeting your family, the rest of your family.
It's become more of a middle-class thing now with the advent of so many people raising birds and having dogs and going places. It's like, I got a phone call a while ago. We had that skeet tournament for the FFA in Mariana earlier this year. Remember
Sporting Clays,
and one of the door prizes was a 30-bird hunt, guided hunt there on the place. And the guy called me a little while ago, says, "We don't actually want the hunt; we just want the birds." And I said, "Well, that's fine. I'll give you.
I'll go ring some necks."
No, he wants to hunt them.
Oh, okay.
He wants his buddy's got some dogs, and they just want to run their dogs. And I said, "Well, I'll give you a place to do it, or I'll just box up the birds for you." And he said, "Well, we want to do it after deer season." I said, "That's the end of February. There won't be no birds left come then. They'll all be gone. And the ones that are left are going to be real expensive. So, give you 2 weeks. And
how many birds you got?
I probably got right now about 900 in the pen. And Joe down the road, they got several thousand probably. They're not selling this year like they used to. There's a lot more people raising them now and feed prices or medication and all that stuff, it's not crazy lucrative. I'm kind of holding my birds later in the year when there ain't none, and then you're gonna pay for them then. So I'll sell them today if somebody wants to buy some, but I'm not worried. I'm not advertising them until later on, and then it'll be for that handful of people that still wants to run a hunt, and they might pay an extra $1 a bird. But I hadn't been able to get my dog out there. But the point I'm making is it's becoming more and more common.
Yeah, see, that
now.
was absolutely not a thing when I was a kid growing up. We were 100% hunting wild quail, 100% on foot, walking behind the dogs. It wasn't that we had 6 bird dogs in a wagon following behind us. It was Jim and Buck, and we threw them out on the ground. And when Papa, me, or the dogs got tired, the hunt was over, or it got dark.
We had little bit, and Wilbur, 2 Brittany Spaniels, and my daddy would go out there with a little 18-inch barrel sawed off 870, the improved cylinder, and I'd walk behind him, and we'd go around our fields where we farmed, and the parts that you didn't farm, the tree lines and
the fence rows. I mean, that's and now with agriculture, you don't have they farm right up to the fence or right up to the line as far as much square inches as they can get out of the field to farm. I don't blame them. And you got fire ants now that you didn't have in lots of back then, and you got coyotes we saw a coyote in the front yard the other night in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
did your neighbor shoot it like you did in Landman?
Huh? Yeah.
Boy, did you see that?
I would have. If I saw the coyote, the neighbors may or may not hear me shoot it. But I would shoot a coyote in the yard now personally. But
I'm so disappointed Landman is over.
Yeah, well, there'll be another season of it.
I know it. I just gotta wait.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, that season was really good.
Yeah, it was. It's a good show. It really is a good show. But no, I'm looking forward to this weekend, Fred, and I wanted to thank you in advance for.
Don't thank me now. You might come back next week shot.
Let's not do that.
We'll start calling Fred Dick Cheney.
Well, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. So, looking forward to it.
Well, I'm going to save that story I had for next week. When we come back, we'll talk about some. And we're back. So before we get to Paul in the fishing segment, Supreme Court decided that the ban on TikTok is actually going to go through. So the Chinese, and it's not just TikTok, I think it's any foreign, countries that don't like us can't just run these social media platforms without divesting or something. I'm not exactly sure the whole thing, but pretty much it's shutting down TikTok and any Chinese-owned and controlled, government-controlled stuff.
And just in case, the Iranians develop a TikTok app.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know. Just in case. Any enemies of America? North
do
you have an app?
So the only thing TikTok can do is they can sell the company, or they cannot operate in the United States anymore, which sounds a lot like what China does to our stuff. They won't run any of our stuff. So, turnabout's fair play. The upside is to heck with the Chinese, and they won't be stealing data, mining data from people who are putting their personal information out there. At the same time, there's a lot of people that run companies and make money on TikTok.
Well, I'm gonna tell you an experience I had the other day, and it was and this is with Google. Mm-hmm. So if you think that they're not stealing every keystroke that hits your phone. Somebody sent me a text message, and I don't even remember what it was, but they were asking me some obscure question about a fish bait, about a certain crankbait. It was just something, and it was, have you ever used a whatever?
And you didn't know who this person was or not?
Oh, yeah, this was a friend of mine.
Okay.
Sent me a question, have you ever used blah, blah, blah for this kind of fishing and this time of year, have you ever used a blah, blah, blah? And I don't even remember what it was. It was something fish bait. And I was like, yeah, I have. It's this color. Somebody was asking me a question. And I answered the question. And 30 minutes later, I go to my phone to look something up. And I have a Google news page on my phone that post articles or advertisements on there. And the first thing that popped up on that Google page was an advertisement for that bait company.
Wow.
You ought to see the ads that
and
drop up on
so
my
they
phone.
had obviously read, they had obviously Googled.
What is your phone? How do they know that? How does that?
Because we were texting about it. The keystrokes on the text message named a specific make, model, manufacturer of fish bait, and that the phone picked up on that from the text app, the Google text app, and I got an ad for it.
Wow.
I'll do you one better. I have a distinct memory of, I didn't look it up. You
had a conversation about it. I've seen it.
Yes,
done.
I've had that. That
I
happens all the
didn't
time.
text it. I didn't
Talk about it on the phone.
Talk about it on the phone.
Yeah.
I literally was thinking about it in my
there
head.
it
I was
comes.
like, oh, I gotta make sure to remember to do that thing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then it pops up like 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought about it. I didn't even say it. I didn't type it.
It's reading your thoughts.
It was reading my thoughts, man.
I've had that happen.
Which is why you need a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that happens. It wasn't long ago. I was laying in the bed at night by my wife's sitting there sleeping or laying there sleeping, and the phone's over there sitting. I ain't searching it on my phone, and I'm thinking about something. And then the next morning, I'm doing my normal morning doom scroll before I get up out of the bed, and I'm looking through everything, and that's what I'm seeing. There's crap about that. Now, maybe subliminally I saw something earlier in the night, and then it just made me think about it. I don't know, but I'm telling you,
I'm throwing this phone.
It is scary.
Last night I was FaceTiming with two other guys, and we were talking about a particular company that sells a treble hook, the different weights of them, and he said, he was
FaceTiming. So now that right there alone.
When you say you're FaceTiming with two other guys, I'm like, I need
so it was on speaker, right?
Right.
And when I went to type into Google the name of
it was already there.
It was already there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So what's causing all? So
your phone's listen. Anybody that thinks your phone doesn't listen to you is crazy. That's what the text, talk to text, and all that stuff do. These things listen to what you're saying. But
we have Alexa in the house, and I know for a fact it listens to everybody.
Yes,
we don't have any conversations in the house that I'm worried about anybody knowing about. We don't discuss state secrets or private stuff.
Right.
We don't talk about anything.
Right.
You could come sit in my living room for 3 days straight. You'd be bored. Right. Okay, so I mean, there's nothing going on. So the point is it's and every now and then it'll just start talking. And it's not just the Alexa voice. Sometimes it's some dude over there talking, and I don't know if it's not that yet. I don't know if it's the NSA, some guy going, "Hey man, you need to quit talking." I don't know. I can't hear it because But all of a sudden I go, "Wait a minute, that's a different voice." What did it say? Well, I was like, I don't know. It talks all the time. Until it says, "Hey Charlie, put some underwear on." I don't.
So the whole China listening and everybody's listening and tracking our data. I mean, that's
so. With this ban, are they going to do away with it? You're not going to app no more.
You can't install it anymore. If you have it, you can still use it. But it's not available for. So I couldn't install it on my phone now.
Gotcha.
Or after this goes into effect in a day or two.
I already don't have it. So
there's a lot of younger people doing that.
TikTok, well, but the thing is people there will be a more domestic friendly platform come up that is similar that people can do their stores and their stuff on. And I never got involved.
I honestly think Big Tech's just mad because TikTok's a hit and it's money and it's all about the money, not the we're protecting you. We're protecting.
They got the rest of the world they can still do stuff with. But let's talk about fishing before we run out of time.
Yes, I tell you what, guys, the crappie have been incredible. I had a trip Wednesday, and we had one that was 18 inches long.
Good gracious!
It was a giant.
That is a slab.
We caught like 40 that morning. And then about 1 o'clock, JD, it's like all the fish just went straight to the bottom. You could still catch some, but
they had enough.
They just went straight down. I watched them go. They were sitting up high in about 25, 24 foot of water, at about 10, 12 foot, and then they just went down. And it's kind of like they went and laid on the bottom. And you could get it right over their head and just kind of, and one would come up. Then all the ones that would bite after that were just little ones. But, man, the big ones were biting that morning. It was incredible.
Are you going to try to fish in this 20-degree weather, Nick?
Actually, I don't know about I am. It's gonna be good. It's
what he does for a living.
That water temperature is gonna drop. It's gonna be. I've got a trip on Sunday.
Well, you got Canadians
Like-
coming
it's
out.
like-
I did have Dale
It's like
bringing
asking
a buddy on Monday.
a mechanic, you gonna fix cars next week? It's gonna be cold. And they're
But
going,
no
well,
reason
yeah.
we're not going Monday with Dale because it's gonna be like
I don't
20-mile-per-hour winds.
Thinking about calling in sick to court just because I got to walk to the courthouse from the parking lot and it's going to freeze me. I just don't like cold.
Hey, and that's something we need to talk about right there. With the water temperature right now is 51, 52, 53. By now it's probably 55 today. Falling out of the boat,
Not a good thing.
you have to be very careful this time of year, whether on the coast, on the
You ain't
rivers.
got to tell me.
Boy, I tell you, because this time of year, all the way now till about May, I'll have an extra set of clothes in the boat with me, or if I fall out, because I have been known to fall out of the boat.
Carry some extra socks and make sure they're not acrylic.
That's right. That's right. But
And wear your PFD.
That's
right. This time of year, it is not about whether or not you can swim. Is it about how long is it going to take you to get out of the water? And the clock is ticking, and you've got 10 minutes.
Yep.
On the outside this time of year. If you get wet, fall in the water, you've got 10 minutes. And if you're not dry and starting to get warm in 10 minutes, you can die. Yep. And it don't matter if you can swim or not. I promise you, I don't care how good of a swimmer you're not going to swim for more than about 3 minutes in that cold weather. If you're not wearing a wetsuit or a dry suit or whatever, people don't get it if you've never been exposed to it, and I have.
Right.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
And I've gone in the water when it was 20-something degrees outside because I had to, but I was wearing a dry suit. But if you get exposed or you fall in the water, your muscles are going to quit working in a matter of minutes, and you're going to get hyperthermic in a absolute heartbeat almost. And it is a dangerous time of the year to be on the water, swim or not swim, because of that water temp. And 48-degree water is really, really, really cold water.
You ain't kidding.
It will kill you.
That's right.
And so please, folks, if you're going to be out on the water duck hunting, there's every year duck hunters die every year from falling in the water. It happens every year every season without fail. It happens.
That's right.
Happened last week in Appalachian.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's just it's something to take very seriously, and a lot of duck hunters are young guys, and they think they're bulletproof. And
right.
guys, please, if you want to keep doing what you love, take care of the safety stuff on the front end.
Respect it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's right.
It will kill you dead.
I wish somebody told my old man that when I dropped my shotgun in the water once.
It made you go get it?
Yeah, he did.
What's the water temperature?
It's about
Cold.
50-something.
Ooh.
Well, digger's rear end cold.
Yeah, and he got a wetsuit that was a size extra large and put it on me like that was going to do it again.
That doesn't help.
No.
That'd drown you.
There's a reason you got to squeeze into a wetsuit if it's properly fit.
He just duct taped the tractor inner tube to him and threw him in the water.
Yeah, I went down and got the gun and then gave it to him, and he beat me over the head because it wasn't on safety.
Oh.
Bet you learned.
I did. It's on safety now.
Makes sense.
More parenting tips next show. We'll see y'all next time.
Our brother would come home.
All right,
from
Fred, here.
service.
Here is